righty. Oh, what a wonderful morning. It's getting colder here. We had such beautiful weather. And now, a bit colder. We're doing well. We are doing well. Okay. Indeed. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Indeed it is. And to have you like this every day, day in, day out. Michael, shalom to you in Germany. Carlos is with us in Costa Rica. Welcome. Julie is in Pennsylvania. And so is Susan in Pennsylvania. Tim is in Texas, Boker Tov. Blanca is in Guatemala. Greetings. Diane is in Arizona. Good morning. Rusty in Texas. Davida and Liba in New York. Eddie is in Washington State. Lisa's in West Virginia. John, welcome in North Carolina. Sandy in Michigan, good morning. Sandy, good night in Australia. It's late. Rena, welcome in Colorado. Nazar is with us in Malaysia. Marcus, Michael. Where are you? Connected. And Estlingen. Where is that? Welcome. Valmir is in Brazil. Shalom. Denise is in... One second. Denise, weren't you in Israel? Are you now in Kansas, or is it a different Denise? It might be a different Denise. Welcome. Andrea is in Phoenix. Jackie in Charlotte, North Carolina. Leah is in Florida with us. Daphne, South Carolina. Eugenia in Calgary, where there's snow and very cold. Warming up with Tanya. Larry in Chicago, welcome. Paula is in Bakersfield, California. Good morning. And also Yohanan in California, Madeline in New York. Beautiful. We have with us on Instagrammers. Akoy in Peru. Yehuda in England. Michael in the Televenta. Bronx Girl. Wonderful. We have with us on Clubhouse Sebastian, David, Celeste, Michael. Okay. We have Kenneth in Ghana. We have David in California. Denya. We have... Oh, so I was correct. Moved back from Israel. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. And Denise is with us in New Jersey. And Nessia is with us. Welcome. We conclude today the 27th letter. This letter speaks about the righteous and the connection that we have with them after their physical time here on earth. We're always connected to loved ones that pass away, there's no doubt. But that connection is not as deep and profound as the connection with righteous people who are our teachers, mentors, our Rabbis. It's much deeper, much more profound. The connection being that regular people, why they live and what they live for is different than the righteous. As we mentioned yesterday, what gives vitality to the righteous is their faith, love, and awe of God. Literally gives them vitality. Literally is their life. And food that nourishes, not that they don't eat food that nourishes, but in the end, why is food nourishing? Why is food nourishing? Well, because God gives it the power to nourish. So it's really God, His power in the food that gives it nourishment. It's not like, food is especially if it's organic, especially if it's, that so on and so forth. It's got these vitamins in it, it's got these minerals in it, and so, that's nourishing. No. God is the one that nourishes. He's the one who gives the food the vitality. So me, I know that. I don't live and experience that. I experience, my wife makes great chicken soup, and we had leftover from Shabbos we had last night. You know what? It felt nourishing. I felt the vitality from it. Honestly. Yet I made a blessing on it. It was kosher. And I know that it is God's power in the chicken soup that gives me vitality. But I know that intellectually I don't experience that. The righteous do. So much so that it's the love of God, not the love of chicken soup. Right? Right? It's the love of God and the faith of God and the awe of God and not the chicken soup. Right? I'm saying that for myself, just to let it penetrate. That's for the righteous. When they leave this world, as we explained yesterday, those who are connected to them, they can receive from them that love, that faith, that love and awe of God in a much more profound way than even when they were alive, because when they were alive, it came through their soul came through their body and expressed it through words or thoughts even. But after they pass, it's expressed further. Their awe, their love, their faith in God isn't diminished. It's still there. It's still part of their soul. Now we're getting it directly from them, directly from their soul, not by the intermediary of a body. So we get a much greater degree. That's what we learned yesterday. And that illuminates us, that it becomes part of our mind and our heart. It's absorbed internally. We get that from the righteous after they pass away. Now, there's another kind of illumination that disciples get from the righteous. But it doesn't vest itself in the minds or in the hearts, as we just explained, right? That derives from, as we explained, the Ruach level. Ruach means the second level is the spirit, which is the emotional part of the person and the emotional part of the righteous. We all have it, but they live it. Again, is their faith, love, and awe of God, right? That they intellectually have integrated and become part of them. It's their reality, and they give that to us. But this radiates what we're talking about now, that we get another illumination from the righteous. Illuminates from above. It encompasses us because it transcends us. It's very lofty, and it doesn't become integrated within us. Where does it come from in the tzaddik? It comes from their ruach neshama and the way it is in its source above, which in Kabbalistic terminology is chakel tapuchin kadishin, literally means the orchard of holy apples. No holy cows, but holy apples. Right? The orchard of holy apples, which refers to the sphere of Malchus in the world of Atzilus, which is the divine source of this, all our souls. But the righteous kind of live it. So this is where it comes from within them. And it ascends and affects a union between the feminine and the male parts of the divine, right? That creates a union above by the means of their affecting down here below. In other words, their Torah and divine service that they engage, the righteous, during their lives in this world, it creates a union above. I mean, we all do that, but theirs is revealed. By us, it's not, right? So by what they've accomplished, they create a union between the male and female of the divine. Malchus is the feminine, Zoh is the masculine. They create a union through the divine service. And that light is supplanted or implanted, remains there above, right? This lofty illumination. And you know when it comes down here below and it actually illuminates the world, it illuminates them. It illuminates them. But when does it illuminate the world? After their passing. That supernal light, which, by the way, we also create that when we do a mitzvah, but it's not illuminating our lives. We're not righteous. And it doesn't illuminate the world after our passing because we're not on such a level. It will be ultimately illuminated, but this is just a parenthetical comment, because the Alter Rebbe is not saying this here. It will become illuminated in times of Mashiach, right? Meaning, illuminate means experienced. So, this illumination radiates over the disciples and those who are servants of God through Torah and mitzvahs, and it illuminates us in our hearts and instills in us as a result. What does instill in our heart that radiates in our hearts? The thoughts of tshuva, of repentance, and doing ma'asim tovim, good deeds. And not only does it illuminate our hearts, others, in other words, as being disciples of this righteous person, which we are of the Alter Rebbe and his teachings, and if you choose, the Rebbe of our generation, right, a disciple of, so you're connected. So not only as a result of this, what they accomplished during their lifetime is then revealed after their lifetime in us, but also in successive generations. Not just in me, but in my children. Not just in my children, my children's children. It will radiate, right? In a hidden, concealed manner, just as the sun radiates the stars from below the earth, right? But it will radiate. And as the Zohar says in reference to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our master, that after his passing, his radiation extended over in every generation over the 600 general souls to radiate them. So just as Moshe and Moses, so too with the righteous, who are the successors of Moses, by means of their Torah mitzvahs that they serve, every righteous person illuminates successive generations directly to their disciples, and in turn to the disciples, to their disciples, when they follow in the matters of Torah and mitzvahs. So it will radiate to them. So what does that mean? It means that the connection to the righteous, as a result of that connection that we have, will lead us from time to time that we just, not even being aware, because he said it's hidden, because it's an encompassing light that is something that we don't experience where it's coming from, but he's explaining to us, so we don't experience, but we can know it. Where's it coming from? The righteous person, and all of a sudden I have a thought of tshuva, of penitence, or I have a thought to do a good deed. Right? Now you might say, well, maybe that thought is just my own thought. That's true. Maybe. And maybe not. Maybe it's because of your connection. In other words, the thought to, and when we say good deed, meaning a mitzvah over here, we're talking about doing it in its, in a way of serving God, not in a self-serving way. So just as the righteous are not self-serving, so likewise they implant in us, in our hearts, also to serve in a way that's not self-serving. In other words, almost it's like we have a piece of them in us that when we're connected to them, we reveal that part in us, which we learned in chapter 42 of the first part of Tanya, that brings us to get closer. I sense that. I won't say experience it, but I sense that personally, I must say, that where I am today, I mentioned it in the class earlier, that I wasn't raised in a religious family as a Chabadnik, for sure not. And the fact that I am here and I'm doing what I'm doing, I could say, well, yeah, I was a smart guy. I made smart decisions. I made, it was the right time, the right place, and nah, not so foolish to think that. Greater forces are upon me than me. God Almighty, obviously. But here is even, and the truth is, this is a step further than what we're saying over here, because to come to where I am, I guess at one point, because of my connection, right? Because of my connection, now, so I clearly sense and truly believe that power is greater than me. That I've connected to, that have allowed me and given me the things that I have. And the things that I not just have, but that I am, even more so. Anyways, just my feelings. Powerful. We conclude this letter. Tanya has yahrzeit for her mother, or it was yesterday. So Sarah Bas Shifra and Mendel, and your neshama go from strength to strength. Neshama go from strength to strength, and have an aliyah, and be a good to better. So now that you mentioned about the yahrzeit, Tanya, of your mother, so on some level, this is true of all souls, because ultimately all souls, there's a righteousness to the soul, and therefore there is some, connection that we do have after their passing, and that they influence. As we say, they should be a good to better, which means they should inquire for our benefit on high to bring us blessings. So there is a connection, and they do. So it's very important. I know when my father passed away, knowing that his neshama, his soul, lives on, was very, aside from being comforting, I mean, it happens to be the truth, but then there's still a connection. You still feel that you're connected. That's important. Davida, do the Kadeshim, those who were perished in the Holocaust, they're holy people, yes, are the same illumination tzaddik after their passing? I don't know if we could say that. At some level, maybe. On some level, but, I don't know if you could say that. Is the Torah a spiritual inheritance then? Yvonne is asking. Yeah. I mean, it's a spiritual inheritance. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Ooh, okay. In Florida, may you have no problems there with your weather. John, so we benefit in our time from all tzaddikim who preceded us. Yes, absolutely. Right. Particularly, though, the righteous person in your life, who is either in your lifetime or close to your lifetime, who's, so to speak, who is, the Moses of the generation. So our dear Rebbe is the Moses of our generation, or is it Moses for me at least? That connection is very important. All right, Rambam coming right up. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day.